Hello and welcome to the BA Knowledge Share. In this episode, we continue talking about the underlying competencies for business analysts and specifically tied to business knowledge. So section 3 of chapter 9 in the BABOK guide essentially talks about the business knowledge. Business knowledge is required for business analysts to perform effectively within their business, industry, organization, solution, and methodology. Business knowledge enables a business analyst to better understand the overarching concepts that govern the structure, benefits, and value of the situation as it relates to a change or a need. A couple of competencies under business knowledge are business acumen, industry knowledge, organization knowledge, solution knowledge, and methodology knowledge. Let's touch upon this very briefly. Business acumen. Well, the purpose of business acumen is to get, and it requires an understanding of fundamental business principles and best practices in order to ensure they are considered as solutions are reviewed. Business acumen is the ability to understand business needs using experience and knowledge obtained from other situations. Organizations frequently share similar practices such as legal and regulatory requirements, finance, logistics, sales, and other sort of capabilities. Business acumen is the ability to understand and apply knowledge based on these commonalities within different situations. Now, you as a business analyst might be one of those that move from domain to domain. And when I'm talking about domain, it's industry domain, right? So you could be moving from a finance domain to a healthcare domain as a contractor. So in those situations, it's important to understand, like get a base knowledge of the business domain, their capabilities, specific, if you're in operations, well, how does operations work? So those are the sorts of business acumens that you may want to be aware of. And if you're not aware of it, there's people that you can lean on or documentation available that you can secure in order to gain that acumen. Effectiveness measures of business acumen are demonstrating the ability to recognize potential limitations and opportunities, demonstrating the ability to recognize when changes to a situation may require a change in the direction of an initiative or an effort, understanding the risks involved, and the ability to make decisions on managing risks, demonstrating the ability to recognize an opportunity to decrease expenses and increase profits, and understanding the options available to address emerging changes in the situation. The next part of this after business acumen is industry knowledge. Now, as far as industry knowledge, it provides the business analyst with an understanding of current practices and activities within an industry and similar processes across industries. So there may be an industry standard that you can leverage to understand or gain expertise in. A good example is for business analysis, you're leveraging the IIBA to kind of get an understanding of best practices on how to do analysis. So that's just an example. Now, industry knowledge is an understanding of current trends, market forces, market drivers, key processes, services, products, definitions, customer segments, suppliers, practices, regulations, and other factors that impact or are impacted by the industry and related industries. You may want to get an understanding of who are the top leaders in the industry. So if you're working for a healthcare or health insurance company, you may want to kind of get an understanding, okay, where does this company that I work for stand in terms of the industry as a whole? Another question is, which organizations promote or regulate the industry? Is there some sort of regulatory body that that basically manages these sort of industries or companies? So those good things to know. So the BABOK guide basically provides a guideline as to what you need to be aware of in terms of the industry knowledge. And there's a couple of more questions around industry knowledge. And another example is knowledge of sources of information about the industry, including relevant trade organizations or journals, things of that sort. The third part of under the knowledge section is organization knowledge, right? So the purpose of organization knowledge provides an understanding of the management structure and business architecture of the enterprise. The organization knowledge includes an understanding of how the enterprise generates profits, accomplishes its goals, its organizational structure, the relationships that exist between business units, and the persons who occupy key stakeholder positions. Organization knowledge also includes understanding the organization's formal and informal communication channels, as well as an awareness of the internal politics and influence decision making. A couple of effectiveness measures are the ability to act according to informal and formal communications and authority channels, understanding of terminology or jargon used in an organization. Now, this is kind of key because many times when you go to one organization or a company, their language may be a little different from another organization. So keep that in mind as you move along, and you'll see a common thread, but the glossary may be different. Understanding of the products or services offered by the organization, the ability to identify subject matter experts in organization, and the ability to navigate organizational relationships and politics. The next big section is solution knowledge. The purpose of solution knowledge allows business analysts to leverage their understanding of existing departments, environments, or technology to efficiently identify the most effective means of implementing a change. When the business analysis effort involves improving an existing solution, business analysts apply knowledge of and experience from the previous work on the solution. So a classic example is you as a business analyst may be matrixed to different departments within the organization. And you may have some experience in, say, the finance department, and now you're moving on to another project in marketing department, right? So how can you leverage past projects and the knowledge of that to come up with solutions? So I think that's kind of that puts a business analyst in a unique position. The effectiveness measures is reduced time and cost to implement a required change because you as a business analyst have that solution knowledge, shorten time on requirements analysis and or solution design, understanding when a larger change is or is not justified based on business benefit, and understanding how additional capabilities that are present but not currently used can be deployed to provide value. The next section is methodology knowledge. Understanding the methodologies used by the organization provides the business analyst with information regarding context, dependencies, opportunities, and constraints used when developing a business analysis approach. Methodologies determine the timing, the approach, the role of those involved, the accepted risk level, and other aspects of how a change is approached and managed. Organizations adopt or create their own methodologies to fit varying levels of culture, maturity, adaptability, risk, uncertainty, and governance. Some of the effectiveness measures are the ability to adapt to changes in the methodologies, the willingness to use or learn a new methodology, the successful integration of business analysis tasks and techniques to support the current methodology, familiarity with terms, tools, and techniques prescribed by a methodology, and the ability to play multiple roles within activities prescribed by a methodology. That being said, this concludes the section of as it relates to knowledge. And just to kind of go over and business acumen, and just to go over the business knowledge section, let's go over the summary. So the first thing we covered is business acumen. So having an understanding of the business and the fundamental principles of business is important and it's key. So that's one. Industry knowledge. You may go through and understand industry regulations, current trends, market trends. So anything that sort of works on the exterior of an enterprise, I think that's critical to know. And industry knowledge, as I give an example of being involved in industry organizations like the IIBA, it really hones in and helps you with building your business analysis skills is important. The next section was organization knowledge. So really understanding what are some of the goals, what generates profits for this enterprise. Those are the sorts of things that you want to understand as part of the organization knowledge. The solution knowledge could be I gave the example of where you will move from a marketing effort to rather finance effort to a marketing effort, and the solutions were very similar, requirements were similar, and you as a BA have that solution knowledge, which enables faster implementation, enables more of a connecting the dot kind of capability within the business analyst. So keep that in mind when you are gaining knowledge in terms of the solution. Methodology knowledge. An example over here could be SDLC versus Agile. Now, you may be working and you may have worked in both sort of methodologies, and having that ability to kind of see both outcomes is important because you have the ability to kind of be agile and flexible to move through different methodologies. So that sort of knowledge is important. In the next episode, I'll cover communication skills and how that helps in the underlying competencies of a business analyst. Thank you for listening to this episode. And that being said, please do subscribe to this channel if you do find value. And one question to ask is from this section is how do you as a business analyst basically gain domain knowledge? I'd be curious to kind of learn that. If you do have some comments, please do comment below. And otherwise, also please do visit my website at baknowledgeshare.com. Until next time, thank you.